Hello YouTube, sorry about that. Someone decided to call this phone and cut the recording, but it's okay. I have settled it, and I am sort of lost at where I left off, but I'm pretty sure I kind of know that. Let me change the song, because it's been playing. Uh, let's go, yeah. There we go. Anyways. Last thing I said was probably, this deck, in my opinion, is all about timing and setup, and that's basically what all Paladin decks probably do. But in this case, it's sort of, in this deck case, it's really important because for this deck to work, you need to have a Blaster Blade, and you need to have the right setup. And setup, I mean, like, you know, a field. Unless you're, like, gonna do it blindly. Like, you need a field, so you just call top 5 for an attempt to call something. But in case if you don't do that, and you could set up a field, then that's even better because it's basically you call the same field. And the more meh parts, or like kind of key parts about this deck, in a way, is its cost. So let's pretend I don't have you. So his skill, once again, is counter last 3, so last 2. And I need to have a perfect ride. Give me a grade 2. So let's pretend it's like this. No, we'll do that. So pretend it's like this. This is most likely what you're gonna ride. You're gonna run this, or ride this, or ride over this, call it. Then you're gonna ride 2, and then 3, and from this, you can only use it one time. You'll soul charge Arm. You only use it one time. Yeah. And the counter blast itself, it's 3, and we can only run damage up to 5. So unless you heal and use a Balance, you can't use this skill again. So one of the important things about this deck is a worst case scenario where, you know, okay, do I use the skill now? Can I use it again later? Because to use the skill later, you're gonna, again, a second time. To use it a second time, you're gonna have to either ride a second Alfred, or like have something else in the soul, a second Zoran or whatever. You have to fill one more soul, and you need to be able to heal a damage or flip it somehow, which is why we're doing these. So, there have been cases where I personally have only used the skill once, and I didn't win the game because I didn't, like, you know, I can only use it once. And if you can't use your Vanguard, your Monarch Sanctuary, then he's just a beater. You should, like, that's why people use Zenith as their secondary Vanguard. I don't have Zenith personally, so I use the regular Alfred and the Garmor because I don't have any other cards to use, and I'm fine with that. And yeah, basically, those are like the kind of consequences and the harsh worst case scenarios that can happen in this deck. And then, like, yeah, basically that's sort of it. Because of Alfred's heavy cost and, like, Gold Paladin's lack of use of soul, this card, like, in the worst case scenario, again, can only be used one time. And after that one time use, it's probably going to be, like, either dead, or it's just going to sit here and you're going to swing for, what's the highest booster I could afford here? A 7k. So this will attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 23. It's cross rides, that's fine. So you could do that, or you could ride the other Alfred, which I don't have, and it'll get plus 2k for every rear guard, so he gets plus 10, plus 7k boost, that's 28. Oh, it's the same? No, I'm pretty sure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 5k, 16, 23. Alfred is plus 10, plus 8, so it's 20. 8. Oh yeah, so this will hit 23. Alfred, the other one, will hit 28. So you know, it's just a basically if you can't use anyone's skill or you're out of counterblast, you're out of soul, you're gonna be using some Vanguard to beat them with high power. That's it, and hopefully you'll trigger sack or something. But yeah, but that's why we have cards like this and this, because these two cards will basically keep the deck running in consistency. Yeah, vocabulary. Or this card will let you unflip more damage, so you could use his Alfred's skill probably once more. This one will increase the soul. Well, personally, I only run 2. You could easily run 4 or like more of this, but kind of grade 1s is kind of the hard difficulty on this deck and like balancing out. So you could run more of this, and you could fill out the soul and get more chances of him to fill up the soul to use his skill again. Or you could just ride another Alfred, or you say, I'll ride something not Alfred and then ride over it, so now I have an extra soul. Like, you don't have to use Alfred early, like when you're at 4. And that's another good reason. So, one of the troubles of this deck, and I'm pretty sure everyone who uses this deck has the same problem, is I don't know. So, if you remember correctly, that Alfred is Limit Break 4 and 5, or Ultimate Break. And basically, if you want to plus with the Ultimate Break, by calling the Blaster Blade, you have to be at 5. And so one of the troubles in this deck is getting to 5 from 4. So basically, it's like a gamble. So like, it's the opponent's turn, they're attacking me, and I really want to use Alfred's skill. That means I'll probably got to guard something, but if they're a deck that runs crits, all crits, then they'll probably attack with their Vanguard first to try and get crits. So the trouble with that is basically if they crit you, you lose unless you heal, and if they don't, then you get to 5 and you keep the Ultimate Break. So it's a very gamble. And there are times when I really want the damage. When I go look through their drop zones, like, okay, 1 crit, 2 crit, 3 crit. So that's a thing. And basically, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to actually use the Ultimate Break. I just personally want to use it because that's the whole point of Alfred itself and its deck, or one of the pluses, or his key, like, characteristics. So let's say, okay, attack with Vanguard to your Alfred, no guard, get critical trigger. Oh shoot, I lose. I pull heal trigger, and I pull, no, I suck. So yeah, I lose. Let's say he doesn't pull, so he pulls draw trigger. Oh, draw this, second check, nothing. Oh, take 1, and attack, and I'll guard with all these, and then I'll use the Ultimate Break to call everything here, and then he gets double crit. And I attack them, they can't guard. Oh, GG, I win. It's like that. It's a win-lose scenario in a way, but that's how Vanguard is all the time. And like I said, timing and setup. Most importantly, the damage, because if they double crit you at 3, then you'll probably go to 5, unless they put the crits on rear guards or something like that to make you do that. But basically, if you want to use the Ultimate Break, then you have to risk a lot of things, like being at 4 and taking the Vanguard attack. Or if you just want to use Alfred to make Bruno and make a column for 28, or like high columns, like, I don't have a second Bruno. That's troublesome. I'll go to my hand. I don't have a Bruno. Come on, Bruno. I run like 3 of you. Come on. There you go. So another thing you can do is just try to hit numbers like this, because Alfred will always hit like 23, 28 most. If I have a 7k booster, this will hit 23. And if I use the skill, the Liberate the Lock, then this will be 28, this will be 28. So you could do that if you don't want to use the Ultimate Break. I'm so confused right now. And there is also this starter. Liberator Charger, you don't always have to use Arum. I know in the anime I actually used this, and before he liberated the lock, he would soul charge it, and Alfred would get plus like what 15, I believe, power. So that would make him hit even higher numbers, which is weird, but in a way it works. And then, yeah, it's all like I said, setup and timing in a way, and you have to make that decision. Do you want to go for the ultimate break? Because you know if you do or you don't, that's gonna cost you. And in that case of scenario, it's like, okay, he's gonna attack with his Vanguard. Do I really want to risk trying to get a 5th damage or getting critted and losing? Basically, in the situation, I choose an option, I shut up and just go with it. It's like, okay, I want the 5th damage, I'll risk it. No guard, chart check, whatever he gets, settles it. And if I don't want to risk it, then you know what, guard. I don't want to risk it. I don't play risky, but you know, it's all up to you. It's all personal choice. Sometimes I play both even because I want to shine with my Blaster Blade Liberator. And clearing up Quintet Walls and Perfect Guards in this deck, which is a good question because everyone has like their debates or their preferences. Where's Arm? Because Arm is here. So Quintet Walls and Perfect Guards. I know most people run Perfect Guards. From what I saw in, not other people, like from other card fighters, they run all 4 Perfect Guards, no Quintet Walls, because this deck is counterblast heavy, or it doesn't work in this deck, or whatever. Personally, I run 2-2 because I think the balances and variety is okay, and how shoot, what was it again? And how this card. So basically, we clearing up Perfect Guards and Quintet Walls. In a Perfect Guard, you need a second card to use it. So, like this. Okay, Kanzen Guard, discard, done. This one, Counterblast 1, and Call 5. So both of these cards are really good, but it's just like, you know, it depends on what you want. And personally, I've had the experience of having, if I can get the second one, no I can't. Basically, like I said, this card costs 2, this one costs 1, and I could go on with a lesson about the importance of cards. I might do that later, but well, for now, basically, it's like, do I want to use 2 cards to guard 1 attack? Or to nullify an attack and then he'll put triggers on rear guards and attack me? Or do I want to use like 1 card to guard? So do I use 2 cards to guard his Vanguard for perfect? Or do I use 1 card to call 5 more and probably no pass his Vanguard? This, more of a risk than this, of course. But then one of the issues that people have about Quintet Walls is the Counterblast 1. But because of this deck with Blaster Blade and this card, Balin, you can easily unflip damage more easier now, and you could afford Quintet Walls. Because in a scenario, let's say I'll use Alfred, cost 3, call this, unflip 1. So if he hits me with his Vanguard to 5, I could use Alfred's skill again. But then, let's say I don't have the soul. Okay, I can have the soul to use Alfred. But I'll get a 3rd Counterblast anyways. Do I want to use it for trying to ride another Alfred, or trying to ride an Alfred and use the skill, the liberate the lock, or do I use it for this and this? I'll call this, and I'll Counterblast 1, and I'll call top 5. Because defense. So I'll probably, yeah, I really want to make another video on clearing these 2 up and the importance of cards, so I'll do that later. But personally, I ran 2-2 in area. If you've seen the fights, then you've seen how I've used both, and they sort of work fine. In IRL, I rarely get this one a lot. I get more of this, but that's fine because they work either way. They work fine. And I know, once again, it's all personal preference. I prefer 2-2. Balance and variety is always not bad. So, I believe that concludes this tips and tricks tutorial thing on how to liberate the lock or how to Alfred. And I didn't go over locking, but basically if your cards are locked, let's say, yeah, you play a good field like this because you're OP. No, this was not safe. Let's call this shuffle and call this. Okay, terrible. So I'll say your field is like this. Yeah, sure. Let's say it's like this. If they lock this and they try to lock you, because that's common in like Joker. So now we have 2 empty rear guards. Unless they lock them, you can do lots of shenanigans in these rear guards. So let's say they hit you to 4 and they don't know what your card does for some reason. So we already know that Alfred will unlock all these cards and call the field back where it is. And these 2 are unlocked because they decide not to. So in my hand, I have this. So a greedy play would be to call over it and then use the skill to liberate the lock and call. So we have 28, 28, 30 something. And you know, in the scenario, it depends on the situation. But basically, to clear up locked cards and using the skill, you know, depending on what cards were locked and what your field looks like, it's going to be different for lots of people. But, you know, if you played a good field and then you got locked down, you'll just call that same good field again. Because that's basically, this guy freezes the lock. He breaks it. Or whatever. So that's about it, I guess. I have nothing else to say about this deck. Overall, this is like really one of my favorite decks because of how I love the use of Blaster Blade and how this thing breaks locks, because I don't think I uploaded that video yet, but I have a video where I get locked by Link Joker or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. I didn't upload that, I'm pretty sure of it. So that is the conclusion of the tips and tricks on how to liberate the lock or how to Alfred with Domo. So overall, this is only for Gold Paladin players. I'm sorry if you don't play Monarch Sanctuary Alfred, but for those who do, you know, I've teach the ways of how I liberate the lock and how to Alfred, how I do it, not how you guys do it. But you guys could, you know, if you didn't know about these things or these cards and like this setup and whatever, you know, I didn't know these things at first. I had to look at other people, and I was like, okay, that's a pretty good idea. Okay, you run the Bruno. Okay, use the Zorons and the Blaster Blade Liberators, the Balance and all that stuff. Okay, pretty good. So basically, this is just like me showcasing the deck. I know there are a lot of other decks you can make from set 15, like Rebirth, Grandiose, Drag Ruler, and all that stuff. I don't have those things, but I could try and talk about them if you really, really, really want to. I'll give my opinion on them. I'll make a deck on the area, try them out, and I'll give you my opinion on how to blah with blah, how to Mirage Strike with Drag Ruler, how to Omega Lock with Grandiose, how to Eternal Flame Rebirth with Rebirth. I don't know, those things. So, but for now, this is how to liberate the lock or how to Alfred with Domo. Part 2, because part 1 was interrupted by a phone call. But anyways, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I am not usually meh on like giving tips and tutorial type videos or strategy things, because I just play for the fun. But you know, there are things that I noticed and that I could share with you, the world. If you already knew this and you're just watching for the heck of it, then thanks for watching. But you know, if you learned something for this video, leave a like. It helps. And comments what you guys think. If you guys really want me to do another how to blah video with Domo or something like that, comment and I'll try to look at it and analyze it and give you my response. Because I already did the stride stuff anyways. When that comes out, I'll be looking at that and observing. And yeah, so comment, like the video, And subscribe if you haven't, because we got a lot more videos where this came from. And we'll have a lot more fights coming up. So, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video on the Cardfight channel. So, stand up my avatar. See you guys later.
You're down.